If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Welcome. How are you guys? I'm Nestor from WNST. How many of you, let's start the whole thing. Who's the oldest person in the room? How old? Beside me.
Bryce. I'm 17.
17. Who's the youngest person in the room? I got little guys. How old? 10 to 17. All right. I'm Nestor. I'm 43. I've been doing sports media since I was 15. I started at a newspaper called the News American in 1984. In 1986, I went to the Baltimore Sun. I was 17. I was your age when I started working in a real newspaper. I worked there for 6 years until 1992. And for the last 22 years, I've done sports media and sports radio every single day of my life, either on the radio. I was nationally syndicated on sport. You ever heard of Sporting News Radio? Mm-hmm. I was their afternoon drive host in 1999. 2000, 2001. Some of you weren't born yet, but that's okay. And it's my pleasure to be here lecturing you guys today and talking to you a little bit about what I do and how I do it. Let me start this. How many years have you been doing the sports broadcasting camp?
11 summers.
11 summers. I was here the first summer 11 years ago. I was younger, better looking then.
One more time. You were here 04.
04, so it was 8 years ago. 8 years ago. That's probably the 5th or 6th time I've done this.
I think it's your 5th.
Astonishing how much in the course of your lifetime, 17-year-old, the world has changed since you were in elementary school and now going to college. You know, right now in the middle of the speech, first off, I'm videotaping the speech. I'll be able to put this out on the web everywhere. And I'm assuming most of you, because you're at a camp and most of you are kind of like not from here, you have a Droid or an iPhone. So let's see. iPhones. Droids. Don't have a smartphone. Wow, more of you. Do you have phones? Do you have parents? Yes, all right, just checking. All right. Your parents have smartphones. How many of you don't have a parent with a smartphone? Wow. All right, so let me just fill you in on where we're going with this, okay? I own a radio station. In 1998, I bought a radio station called WNST, AM 1570. How many Baltimore people? 1, 2, 3 at least. More. Okay, a lot of Baltimore people. Great. How many of you have ever heard of me? Oh, good. All right. Yeah, that's better than the last class. Better than Loyola College, where they were all from New York and nobody knew who I was. So I started by doing radio and doing newspapers, and I'm assuming most of you don't read a newspaper. Does anyone in here physically read a newspaper every morning?
Not every morning.
Physically, you open a paper, like newspaper, not online now, not on an iPad. Half of you read a newspaper? Well, you're the strangest group of young people I've ever met. That's good, not bad, I guess, because you are, you know, sort of corresponding with where media is at this point. But you're doing dinosaur stuff. We all know the new world. Everything's in a laptop. Everything's in a computer. Everything's on an iPad. And you know, I would just say that the biggest difference between doing this 10 years ago, 8 years ago, whenever it was, and now is the ability for all of you to broadcast yourselves anytime you want, any way you want, anywhere in the world. It's unprecedented. It's, in my 43-year-old mind, unfathomable. You know, like I could never have imagined, and I would have loved to have been a kid in a camp like this, right? I mean, I am the kid you are. I am the kid that wore Colt stuff and Oreo stuff and Capital stuff and Terp stuff when I was a kid back in the 70s, and I never thought that there would be the ability for me to broadcast this speech right now as I'm speaking everywhere in the world. Everywhere in the world, anyone that has a phone or a computer can get to this now in real time because I'm streaming on Ustream, or they can go and watch it as long as the internet lives. I'll be long gone and dead, and this stuff will still be sitting here. Some of it will be dated because by 2025, when you guys are in the workforce, there will be a whole different way of doing sports media. So the one thing I would ask all of you as young people, and I know teachers stand up and tell you this all the time, keep learning, keep growing and keep learning about what's going on in social media and what's going on. How many of you are involved in Facebook or Twitter? Let's start with Twitter. Twitter, how many of you are on Twitter? How many of you are not on Twitter? Get on Twitter. Get on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter right now, you're not cutting edge, and you guys are way too young to be old. So, you know, Twitter is where we disseminate and distribute all of our information in live real time. So some of you are Ravens fans. You're all NFL fans, right? Do you remember the morning when Terrell Suggs blew out his Achilles about 4 or 5 weeks ago? That's the kind of event. It happened this time of the morning. It happened 9:30 in the morning that the word broke. We had a leak to us from Phoenix the night before, and we started sort of throwing, suspicions out on the internet and that sort of thing. And the one thing we never do as an organization is break false stories. I mean, that's just not what we do. I don't deal in rumors. I don't like when rumors are spread about me. You probably don't like it when it's spread about you. And being in a position to have a microphone and having some responsibilities, when we send out a text, you guys got to get some more rest now. Come on now. Am I that boring? I'm kidding with you guys. It's all right. Smile. We're all here to learn, man. Come on. Let's have some fun. So when Twitter happens and the news story happens that Terrell Suggs blew out his Achilles, if it's got my name on it, on the tweet, it's got my logo on it, it's on our front of our website, it's on Facebook, it's got to be true, right? But in the old days, I just want to give you a difference between being a newspaper guy, a radio guy, and now being a full-serve internet person in the 21st century. Newspaper. If that story happened at 9:30 today, when would that story wind up in the newspaper? Tomorrow. A little late, right? I don't know why they call it a newspaper when it's really an old paper, right? I mean, it's old news, right? Well, in the old days, what would happen is at 9:30 in the morning, if that story happened, I would own it because I was in radio, right? Because radio is immediate, right? We have a live radio station right now. If it happens and I know it, I go to the microphone, I say it out the microphone, it goes out. If you're in the car, you hear it. If you're listening to the radio, you hear it. If you're not near the radio, not near the car, not near TV, you wouldn't know it. Pre-cell phone, pre-iPhone, pre-Droid, right? So that was the radio, the immediacy of being able to have a story and have it right here, right now, and be able to say it. Because as much as the newspaper would love to stop the presses and reprint it and get it out, by the time they do all that, people have already put their radio on or put the noon news on or the 6 o'clock TV news. But that's the old world. In the new world now, there is no newspaper. There is no radio right now. There's only your Droid, iPhone, smartphone in your pocket. This is where every news story, be it the death of Michael Jackson or Whitney Houston, be it the Supreme Court ruling yesterday with Barack Obama and healthcare, be it Terrell Suggs' Achilles, be it last night's NBA draft, whatever it is, the Orioles getting blown out again last night, all of it happens and the conversation happens. And let's be honest, if you're in a sports media broadcasting camp from ages 10 to 17, your whole world is about sports and news, especially in the summertime. You want it first. If you don't want the news first, you're in the wrong business. This isn't a business for you if you want to be second. This isn't a business for you if you want to put something in the paper tomorrow that everybody in the room's already read today, right? So I just want to impress upon you guys, and year after year of me doing this, I can't begin to tell you that I come in here, and the first time I came in here, Jeremy and the fellas, they had like VCRs and videotapes and video editors. Now I have, an Apple MacBook here, and there are apps now on phones that will allow me to video this, edit it, and have it on YouTube within seconds. How long will it take me to get your pictures out on the internet right now? How long do you think it'll take me? How about 3, 2, 1, boom. You guys are on the internet. All I got to do is hit one button and hit share and say, this is my class. Now this is the amazing thing. I came in here 4 years ago. I think the last time I came here was probably 8. In 8, there was no Twitter, right? So right now, I can say anything I want to say about you in any way I want and tweet it out to say, my class this morning. And I can tweet that out, and I'm sending it out. 10,000 people are getting this right now. 10,000 people. Do you know how hard it is to print 10,000 newspapers? You know how hard it is to get them off the press and bundle them and then put them in a truck and then take the truck to the 7-Eleven and have it go all over the city and drop the paper off, and then you got to wait for your pops to go over there and buy it for 50 cents or $1 and then take it home, and maybe he sees the picture, maybe he doesn't. It's kind of amazing how technology works now, and I literally did put you guys out on the internet 10 seconds ago. So 4 years ago, the last time I came in here, that wasn't available. It wasn't available to videotape things and stream things live in real time. But if you don't learn anything else about sports broadcasting, I'm kind of going at a graduate level. I'm assuming it's the end of the week for you guys.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.